So greetings from here in the office, here in Pennsylvania. So last week I took a little trip down to Philadelphia. Today's Wednesday, July 15th. I think I took that trip last Monday or Tuesday down to downtown Philadelphia. Not my most comfortable place to travel, to be honest, but we made a trip down there. I wanted to visit some of the buildings, Independence Hall, where the Continental Congress met. Actually, where the second Continental Congress met. The first Continental Congress met somewhere else, a building called the Carpenter's Hall, which I didn't know until I started researching for this video. But I wanted to make a trip down there to kind of, before I got to any of the other spots here in Pennsylvania that I want to do, because Philadelphia kind of is the birthplace of the Revolution. A lot went on there. But yeah, so we'll start this video in a moment. Me filming down there in Philadelphia. I do want to say though, I think the place is called, the whole place there is called, it's a National Historic Park, Independence National Historic Park. As far as parking goes, there is a parking garage underneath the Visitor Center. I think it's off of, you can get to it from either 6th Street or 5th Street, I think. It wasn't too bad. I figured it out. I think there's a second level. I got down to the first level, there was no parking, I didn't know what to do, and I realized there's a second level. That might be a third level. So you could park there, you pay down, there's a little place to pay and stuff. So plenty of parking. It was a hot day when I went down there, but so I walked around just a little bit that morning. So let's go ahead and start that video. I'll get back to you just a bit. So greetings from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of the Revolution. Kind of the happening place right here. I'm what's called Independence. I think they call it Independence Mall, the Independence National Historic Park. You can hear a lot of traffic and other noises. But yeah, kind of a busy place. Just getting here was kind of a pain with the traffic coming into Philadelphia. But yeah, we're gonna stop and look at a few things. Of course, this is where the Continental Congress was held. First one in 1774 and then in 1775. It's the capital of the country for a little while too. I think Congress met here until about 1790. So we're gonna walk around a little bit, look at a few things. Yeah, happening place. Yes, up there is Independence Hall. That's where the second Continental Congress met in 1775. The first Continental Congress met in another building further that way called Carpenter's Hall. But yeah, there's Independence Hall. Just looking around. Wow. Yeah, so once again, there's Independence Hall. They're doing some work over there. Yeah. I think that's the building over there where Congress met. One right there. I think they call that Congress Hall. Yeah, the Carpenter's Hall is down that way somewhere. Yeah, look at the cobblestone streets. Yeah, I gotta make my way over there somewhere. Yeah, so here's the second Bank of the United States. Handy little map here, we're right here. I need to keep going this way to get to Carpenter's Hall. That's where the first Continental Congress met in 1774. So we'll take a quick look at that. We were just up here earlier looking at Independence Hall right here. So we'll try to make our way over here. I guess just go this way. Yeah, all kinds of statues and homeless people too, sitting around. I think that might be it right up here. Oh yeah, Carpenter's Hall. Right there. Yeah, Carpenter's Hall, following the footsteps of the first Continental Congress. I think that's this building right here. Maybe we'll go around the front. Maybe we'll need to retitle this video, The Wandering Woodsman Gets Lost in Philadelphia. Maybe. Yeah, here it is, Carpenter's Hall, meeting of the first Continental Congress. And there's another view of it. Back up just a little bit. Okay, so just a little bit about the first Continental Congress. Let's get my coffee here. They met from September 5th to October 26th of 1774. So that was 2 years before the Declaration of Independence in 1776. And this was before things had, things were already getting bad. There was a lot of grievances already between the colonies and Britain. There were things like a Stamp Act, thing called the Intolerable Acts. I have some notes here. The Boston Tea Party had occurred the year before. Actually, there was a Philadelphia Tea Party as well. It wasn't quite as dramatic as the Boston one, but situation was getting tense. The colonies were trying to do what they could. Oh, and by the way, only 12 of the 13 colonies attended. Georgia did not attend the first Continental Congress. And like I said, beginning of the video, I didn't know. I realized, I thought that the first and the second Continental Congress met at Independence Hall, but the first one met at a place called Carpenter's Hall. I don't remember, from all the stuff I've read and studied, I don't remember reading that. I remember learning that before, but that was kind of interesting. But yeah, in the first, they addressed a lot of grievances, and this is before they were really, motorcycle going by, really trying to get independence. Yeah, they're still trying to heal the wounds, I guess you could say. They're working on that, but yeah, that didn't work. Because in the following year, in 1775, is when some more violence broke out. All right, back to Philadelphia. Yeah, just trying to make my way back to the main area, but look at all these buildings, old style, federal style buildings. There's the second bank again. Here's a statue called the Signer, inspired by George Clymer, Philadelphia merchant statesman. The Signer commemorates the spirit of the deeds of all who devoted their lives to the cause of American freedom. There you go. He's holding the pen. There's the paper. A little bit in the shadow there, the shade. And then up this way is Independence Hall again. As you can see the steeple fort behind there. And up here is Independence Hall once again, where the second Continental Congress was held, as I said earlier. There's a good view of it. So back up and get all of it in frame. Wow. Yeah, so the second Continental Congress is the one that met at Independence Hall there. And that occurred in the summer of 1775 there. And all the battles of Lexington and Concord up in Massachusetts had already happened, and the situation had deteriorated vastly at this point. And Georgia did eventually send delegates to the second Continental Congress. They hadn't sent any to the first, but they did at some point send some to the second. And the second Continental Congress lasted a lot longer, and there was a lot more deliberations on what to do. This is where they got a lot more serious about declaring independence from Great Britain. And they still made some entreaties, like they called the Olive Branch Petition, to try and make things peaceful yet, but it just wasn't going to happen. They formed a Continental Army at this time and all kinds of stuff. It was a lot more push for the independence at this time. So yeah, the second Continental Congress. Yeah, so I'm not going inside any of the buildings. I'm not really sure what the policy is on filming. A lot of times they don't allow you to film, don't want you to film, or they charge you extra fees to film. So we're just gonna look at things from the outside. That's just the way it is. Here's a closer view of what they call Congress Hall, where Congress met in the early years before going to DC. should say there is an auto park here, but it's underground. My Jeep is actually underground up there somewhere, several levels down. Hope we can find it again. But yeah, just heading up this way. The Independence Hall is back that way. Carpenter's Hall was over there. So I think there's a really old cemetery up here. I'm gonna check out a little bit quick. I don't think it's open yet. We might be able to see it from the outside, but we'll make our way up this way. Yep, there's the National Constitution Center. Yeah, the graveyard, it's part of Christ Church burial ground. I think Benjamin Franklin is buried there. But this is the way you have to go anyway to go back to where I parked. Underground here somewhere. Yeah, so we're right here. Yeah, up there's Christ Church. There's Ben Franklin's grave. You have to pay to get in here, but I think we should be able to see it from the sidewalk. Oh yeah, that's where I parked. Underneath here though. So we'll keep on going up this way. Not so many people up here. Yeah, but the wandering woodsman is definitely out of his element here. Out of his comfort zone a little bit too, but as I mentioned in a previous video, that could be kind of good. Alright, let's see if we can visit old Ben. I gotta figure out how to get out of that parking garage too, and to pay and all that wonderful stuff. Alright. Alright, so I think we gotta head this way. Or, I don't know, let's see, maybe just go down this way yet. Ben Franklin's, I don't know if we'll be able to see anything. Oh, here we can. Yeah, I think he's, I'm not sure which one is his though. But he's one of these right here. Yeah, that guy's name, Benjamin Franklin, signer of the Constitution. Might be it right there. Actually, duh, it's right here. Right in front of us, Benjamin Franklin. I'm looking out, he's out here, but it's right in front of us. Yeah, died in 1790. Right there he is, old Ben. Yeah, but you are allowed in here, but you have to pay someone to give the tours. But that only opens at 11, and it's not 11 yet. So, there's old Ben. Yeah, so there you go. I kind of ended the video. We found old Ben. He was like right in front of me. I was looking out there a little bit, but he was like right there in front of me. It was neat that they had that one, most of the wall was like solid, but that one part was gate, or not gate, but like, well, you know, iron bars that you could see through. So yeah, like I said in that video of Philly, I didn't go into any of the buildings. I just haven't had good experiences with being allowed to film in buildings and things like that, and super busy in those buildings, so I just had to let it go. And some of those buildings you have to pay, or there's tours and all kinds of stuff like that, so I just filmed on the outside. I think that was okay. And I didn't mention everything about the first Continental Congress or the second one. If you want to learn more about that, you could obviously go online and learn. But I thought it was just neat to mention a few things and actually go and visit these places where this history occurred. You know, Philadelphia is, in a lot of ways, the birthplace of the Revolution. I mean, important things happened up in Boston and other cities as well. But you know, Philly is where they met and they made all these deliberations. So pretty cool. Yeah. So neat place to go. Like I said, there's parking, plenty of parking in underground parking garage. I'm not sure about in the weekends. It might get a lot more busy. It seemed like a pretty safe place. You know, Philadelphia, it is an inner city. You know, things can get a little crazy there. What I have to say is just an observation, not a complaint, but there were quite a few homeless people around. Some of them aren't dangerous, but there's a number there asking. I didn't have like verbally asking for money, but they're holding signs up and things like that. So some other shady characters here and there. You know, I did feel awkward while carrying a expensive camera. You know, but maybe just stay in some of the more visual, busy areas. Just a note. I mean, it is Philadelphia. If you're local, you know, I mean, it's Philly. So just be careful. All right. Thanks for coming along this video. I mean, out of Philly, obviously. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one.